Hello everyone, welcome to this video. In this video we're going to do lab 14 Azure Security Center, and this lab is part of the AZ500 Azure Security Technologies series from Microsoft Learning, which is available on the GitHub, and I'm going to give you the link. Now when you go to the Microsoft Learning, you will see there are multiple repos for AZ500 labs, and some of the labs are very old, so make sure that you're using the right lab. And these series of labs, they were updated very recently, as recent as about 7 or 8 days ago, just to make sure these labs, they still work with the recent advancement of features within the Azure portal. Now I have done multiple Azure Security Center videos, and you should search and do take a look at the other videos which are a little bit more in depth. In this one we are just going to try to cover the concepts that this particular lab covers as part of the AZ500 exam. So again, we kind of do a proof of concept of implementation of Security Center, and how you can configure your Azure Security Center to monitor virtual machine. Then review some of the recommendations that you have for the virtual machine and implement just-in-time virtual machine access. That is a very important concept, a hardening concept. And finally, review the security score. So the first thing you need to do, you need to go to the Azure portal and you need to go to the Security Center, and really you gotta enable the Azure Defender plan. And when you enable this one, you will be given a chance to auto provision, and I recommend that you enable that for all the available resources, and we'll take a quick look at that. This step is kind of already I have already enabled the Azure Defender plan, so I'll show you the what I have in my environment and how you can do this. And they have recently added a workflow automation as well. You need app service for this one, but I'll quickly show you how to configure that, and then we'll move to the Security Center recommendation. So let's see if we can log in, and I'm going to log in as and let's see. Okay, I have a multi-factor authentication, so I gotta go through. So you may have to go through if you have a MFA enabled for you. And I'm gonna do 76388013 and verify. And then what it's gonna do, it's gonna let me log in. So you can see that I have been working with Security Center, so it kind of shows up at the very top. But if you are going to for the first time, what you do, you need to just look for the Security Center, just search for Security Center, it will show up, and click on that one. So you will be directed to the Security Center overview page. Okay, in this one, if you're going to for the very first time, you will have like 0 for everything, right? You will have nothing, you have no resources and no recommendations, no alerts, right? So I kept it running since last night, so I wanted to show you how it looks when you really have some resources. Otherwise it looks very kind of useless. You just don't get to see anything what Security Center can do for you. So what I'll do, I'll come down to the pricing, okay, and I'll go down to the particular subscription. And what you want to make sure that you typically when you sign up, your Azure Defender free version, when it's off, it's just a free version that is always on, and you get the Azure security score, and you also get the continuous assessment and security recommendation. So what you really need to do, you need to come over here, click on this, so this box should be selected, and you hit the save button there, and that will enable your Azure Defender for 30 days for free. Okay, and you can come over here, and I would recommend that since you're gonna test it, make sure that all of the features are on. But if you're in a production environment, and you don't say you don't have Kubernetes, so you can turn it off. You may be using a separate product for SQL Server, you can turn it off, because some of them are pretty costly. So if you have servers, app service, SQL database, SQL servers on machines, the cost will quickly add up to a big number, and then if you have a lot of resources, these numbers could go up very quickly. So make sure do some cost analysis and go from there. And also remember, what you have here, Azure is continuously releasing support for more type of resources. You may, like a month from now, you may see there a whole bunch of new. What I have seen that they release these features in preview mode first, and when they're comfortable they will move back to production mode. So keep an eye on that one. So over here you can also configure auto configuration or auto provisioning, and if you click on it, you see that I have enabled. So you pretty much, if some of them are not enabled like this, you can just click on this enable all extension and then save. So that will do few things. Log analytics agent, it will be deployed to pretty much all virtual machines that you are deploying. You don't have to worry about it. It will also deploy the Microsoft dependency agent, although it's in a preview mode. And for the Kubernetes clusters, it will add a policy add-on. So I would recommend that you go ahead. You can also configure email, who should be getting emails and what kind of notifications. Integration, if you have a CI/CD pipeline, you can do it from here. Workflow automation will, this is where you can name a workflow. You can select a resource group, and then you can define what to be done when a particular type of trigger is detected. So say based on security center recommendation or regulatory compliance standard or threat, if you say threat alert name contents, maybe high severity is what you're looking for. It could be based on your requirement. And over here also you can say okay, high, and then you gotta select your subscription, and then you gotta use a logic apps. And that's what I'm saying, that you gotta have a logic app instance available, where you're gonna define what kind of app you need to run, what function you need to run. Now hit cancel. Cloud connector, if you want to integrate security center with say AWS account or GCP, you would come over here and work your way. So come back to the lab. Let's see, we have reviewed all of that and how you turn on the Azure Defender plan. So the next task is really review the security center recommendation. And so again, you come back over here. So recommendations, it will show up where? It will show up some over here. Here some insight, some latest news will be there, and then most prevalent recommendations. So these are the recommendations that you are getting that are highly important. They're gonna showing up over here. And also they have controls with the highest potential increase in your security score. Right now you have a really bad security score, it's only 13%, and this one could move at a max of 100%. Long time back, about a year back, when I took the 500, they have a total count. They will not give you a percent, but now I think the percent is much better and a consistent number to track. So let's see, recommendation. Also they have a dedicated tab for recommendation. You can go in there and click on, and that should also give you a recommendation. And here is a stat: 1 completed control and 15 completed recommendation. Then resource health, it's finding 7 of the resources there. Azure is identifying them as unhealthy, 7 of them healthy, and 2 of them not applicable. If you come down here, the first one, they have, if you fix this, you're gonna gain 19% in your security score, so you'll get 8 points. And if you click on this one, you see they have 3 different options. Internet facing virtual machine should be protected with network security group, is probably what it is, network security group. So that we have done. Management port should be closed on your virtual machine, but this is not done in some of our virtual machines because we have either port 22 or port 3389 open. And management port of virtual machine should be protected with just-in-time network, and this is a feature of Azure Defender. If you are not using Defender, you cannot use this particular feature, and we'll come back to this one in a little bit. Let's reduce this now so we can see the whole picture again. Remediate vulnerabilities. A vulnerability assessment solution should be enabled on your virtual machine. That means two of the virtual machines, they don't have any endpoint protection at the moment. We need to enable that one. Again, if you click on that one, it will take you to over here, and sometimes you have a quick fix like this fix button, and if you click on the fix, it should implement or install. Okay, here is a recommended deploy AS integrated vulnerability scanner powered by Qualys, or you can also integrate configure a third-party vulnerability scanner. So bring your own is whatever your scanner, requires a separate license. So you can also do that. Say you have maybe Rapid7 or something else that you use, you integrate that way as well. But I'm gonna go with the recommended one and hit proceed. And here it's gonna say fixing resources. The following resources will be onboarded to the built-in vulnerability assessment solution. And by clicking remediate, you accept the Qualys terms and acknowledge that this feature is covered by those terms and not the Microsoft Online Service terms. And if you have Qualys in your on-prem, you already know how to do it, what it does. I'm just gonna click on remediate. So this is how easy it is to remediate some of the problem. So let's just go back, and it will take some time for the installation to be done. And security center freshness interval is 24 hours. So you probably have to come back tomorrow to see that these findings that are now here, they're green and they're closed. So come back to the security center one more time, and so we have fixed that one. So some of these here management ports like this one, management port of virtual machines should be protected. I'm gonna keep this for now because we will look at this in a little bit. Okay, especially the just-in-time, there is a section in the lab. Let's go back and just take a look at some other apply system updates. So log analytics looks like should be installed, so some is good. Log analytics health agent issue should be resolved. Looks like some of the virtual machine, at least one of them, having log analytics issue, and system update should be installed. Looks like we have some problem here as well. So from here pretty much you can look what is the problem. Like encrypt, we will definitely pay some attention. Secure transfer to storage account, so you should definitely make sure that your storage account, they're encrypted. So to fix that one, it's a very easy fix. You click on that one, click on fix. This is actually went to a different one. Interestingly, a vulnerability assessment solution should be enabled for a virtual machine. That doesn't make any sense. So I'll still, okay, so if I click proceed, this is actually going to the right place. This action updates your storage account security to only allow request by secure connection HTTPS. So what I want you to see, that if I go in there, that means we have right now our configuration for this particular storage account allows HTTP connections. If I go search for the resource, go in there, did I select it properly? Go in there, and let's see, once I go to the storage account and either networking, let me check networking real quick. Networking, it's not under networking, configuration. Okay, so if I go to the configuration, you see secure transfer required, it is now disabled. That means it allows HTTP connection, but it's very important that you always use HTTPS. So over here, if I click the fix one resource, it should fix the problem. Now it's giving me the right title. Secure transfer to storage account should be enabled. So again, so this one has a freshness interval of 30 minutes. So after 30 minutes, if you come back to the security center, you should see this one is completely fixed. And over here, this is actually trying to fix that problem. Okay, So once this is done, we can go back to our setting here and see if that is now enabled or not. So say you need to do this for 100 storage account, you can all do that within the security center. You will just have to select bunch of them and say fix, and all of them are done. What I recommend that once you fix these problems, you start creating deny policies, and by policy you enforce this so that nobody can even create an unsecure storage account. Okay, and the policy again something that you can configure using your security center. Alright, what I'll do, since this deployment is going on, I'll probably go back to the security center from here, and let's see what else. So we looked at the recommendations. Okay, we looked at the secure score, and I told you maximum you can get is 500. And let's now see what are the resources that security center is monitoring. So if you go back over here, so to look at the resources, you gotta come back over here, and there is inventory. Let me see, what is this secure score? Inventory. Yeah, inventory is right here under the under your general blade. Then inventory, if you click on here, it should tell you all the resources that is monitoring. Okay, so 24 total resources. There are 15 that are unhealthy. 0 resources unmonitored. That is good because you want everything to be monitored. And it's saying the some resources are actually partially monitored, and that's about it. And here you see all of the resources here. Now you can put all kinds of filtering in here. You can download the whole report, and you can filter resource group if you want only like a particular resource group and see what that particular resource group is doing. Say I want to see that particular resource group and nothing else. I hit OK, and it's now going to tell me which of the resources in the particular resource group is being monitored. Okay, and what is going on with them, if there is any problem. So you can do additional filtering from here as well. So come back over here, and the security, this one is working on 100% complete remediating resource. It says 100% complete. Interesting. So let's try to go back to the storage account just real quick and see, and go to the configuration one more time. Where is our configuration again? There we go. And look at that. It was disabled before. Now you just click on the fix, and now it has fixed your problem with the storage account that we had. So in about 30 minutes, if you come back, that security recommendation that you saw, and let's see, oh, our security score for some reason actually dropped to 5%. So now it has probably picked up more resources somehow. Okay, so come back to the recommendation, and that recommendation for the storage account will be gone. Maybe it's already gone by now because we already fixed it. Typically it will take it's probably still that's about the disk encryption. Yeah, it's still here, but this one will be gone in about 30 minutes. So that's how you fix some of these problems. Some other problems, it's more involved, so you cannot have a like a fix button. Some of them you just have to go through, and some of them are best practices that you need to make sure that you're following. Okay, so let's go back, but a lot of them, they do have the fix me button or fix button. So I just simply love that. That makes our lives so much easier. Okay, so let's come back over here. So we looked at our recommendation and how to fix some of the recommendation, and then last thing we need to do, we need to go and take a look at how to implement the just-in-time VM access. Now there are two different ways you can do that. So since we are working on security center, we'll stick to the security center and come over here, and there should be an advanced feature somewhere over here at Azure Defender. When you go to the Azure Defender, it's actually kind of a service of its own. And over here, advanced protection, so you have just-in-time VM access. So it's gonna pick up and tell you, hey, I can provide you advanced protection, but it's not configured. Okay, just in time, 2 virtual machines are capable of using this feature, but you have not. So we can come back to that blade, and if you see configured is 0, not configured if you click on here, and these are the virtual machine where you can enable JIT. So what it is, right now to these virtual machines I have open port, so 3389 is open. So again, if I open up this my VM, okay, and go to the security group, so what you are going to see, let's just go to networking on this one, networking, and you see I have opened port 3389. That means if I have the public IP address, okay, or if somebody else, a hacker or somebody with a bad intent, if they got my IP address and somehow my account is compromised, I can use a RDP connection. Okay, hit enter, and from anywhere in the world, it says it cannot find, they might be able to get to my virtual network. Is my virtual machine running? Is it associated with any security group? Okay, let's go to the over here, 4088.148.159. Interesting that it's I don't have that IP address available right now. I'm not sure if I already enabled no, it's available, right? Yeah, so now you can provide the username and password to this particular virtual machine, and you will be able to log in. And the other problem is someone can intercept your RDP connection, because this is going over the internet, and can do some nefarious stuff. So your idea would be, okay, so your admin, you absolutely need to go and connect to the virtual machine, but you do not want to have any networking rule where you have this open all the time. Just in time, what it does, if you enable just in time, it will remove this particular networking rule, and once you want to connect, you will request for a just-in-time access, and that will create this networking rule on the fly and add it to the security group. Once you are done accessing the virtual machine, it will be gone. Now with that understanding, let's go back and enable just-in-time on these 2 machines. Is asking which port do you want to enable this just-in-time. So they're saying 22, 3389, 5985, 5986, all those ports they're saying we recommend that you enable just in time. We say okay, that is fine, hit save, and then it is now enabling the just in time access for those 2 virtual machines. So let's just give it a minute and see what happens. While this is going on, we can also look for the Ubuntu machine that we have, and in the Ubuntu machine as well, if you go there, and I hope the just-in-time is not yet enabled. So if I do SSH, then local admin at that particular IP, it will try to open up a connection for me, right? Okay, so maybe it's already done, so it just didn't even if we say yes, it said permission denied, public key. Okay, so this one I actually need the SSH key to connect. So you can do SSH, and I think I have this one, but I gotta do the chmod. So let's just go to cd downloads, and let's see, I have a .pm file most likely. azure user.pm. I'm just gonna run this command and see and do a sudo on it. So this one I created, so this is no such file, so I never really saved this file, most likely. It's okay. So the point is, if you want to connect to this machine, you should not even have this networking rule where you have port 22 enable. Okay, it cannot be there. So you come back over here, and where is the just in time? It's probably still trying to do the just-in-time access for this particular machine. Let's go back to the Windows machine one more time, and you can also go to the just-in-time section from the security section over here, and you will see explore just-in-time access in security center. So you can also click over here to go back to the security center and see what is going on. So now if you see configured, it says VMs for which just-in-time VM access control is already in place are this. So see, both of them are now done. So what I want to check now is for that particular VM, I'm going to get it up, try to connect it one more time. And if you connect to one more time, see that it will not be able to connect. And if I come back to the virtual machine, my VM, so let's look for the my VM one more time, and I want to see the networking rule again. Okay, so what it did, look at that, it added a rule that overrides the rule that you created earlier, and it placed the rule as 1001, and it said by default from any port, from anyone, from any source, if it requests a connection to the IP address, which is the private IP address of our virtual machine, deny. Although I have a rule to request that we already had, this rule is never going to be evaluated, because the rules are evaluated top to bottom. As soon as this deny it has seen, it will never be allowed. So what you need to do now, if you want to get into the machine, since my virtual machine is protected by just-in-time, so you gotta come back, go back to your security center. Okay, and then let's go back to our Azure Defender. Let's go back to just-in-time access, and over here let's see, I want to connect to the virtual machine. I gotta select that one and click on request access. Okay, and then it's gonna ask, okay, where are you requesting the access, and what is the source IP that you are requesting the access should be granted to, and how many hours, for how long. So 3 hours is good. So I don't need this, so I can turn this one, they're all off by default. So I'm just gonna say, okay, give me access to port 3389, give access from my IP address that I'm having, and 3 hours is good. And then you will click on open ports and give a justification. Need to perform management tasks, and click on open ports, and now it's saying that this request has been initiated and just-in-time network access request is being applied. So let's go back over here and let's try to log in again, and now you see, now you have you will be able to connect to the particular virtual machine using the RDP. So you can also go back to the virtual machine one last time and look at the network rule, and let's see what it did. So you see it added even now another 3389 rule at the very top, and this is actually a temporary rule, and it is now allowing the connection to the port from my IP address only. Okay, so that's how the just-in-time access works, and it creates these NSA rules on the fly. Okay, so now if I come back over here, okay, say I'm done with my work, and I want to disable. Let me just go back to the security center one more time, just in time, and over here, not configured, unsupported. No, I don't need to do anything. So it will stay active, and then if you want to get, like, don't want to use anymore about this uh, this particular machine, if you don't want to use that as part of just in time, you can always remove that from here. And let's see, so now it is also telling last access approve request is 1, it's active, and last user is this. A lot of things you can do it from here. Okay, and 3389, okay, per request. So you can add additional ports if you want, just in time to use additional port. I was looking to see if there is any place to, like, if I'm done, if I can close that even before 3 hours that it granted. I don't quickly see anything. I thought I have seen that somewhere to revoke access, but don't see it here. Okay, let's go back to the lab. So we have enabled just-in-time, and I have demonstrated how to use the just-in-time, how to access the virtual machine from within the just-in-time, and using a virtual machine, and showed you how these networking rules are being created on the fly when you request an access. Without the access, there is no rule, no ports are open. Okay, so that's about it for this particular lab. Hope you have learned something. If you like the video, please give me a like, that helps the channel a lot, and subscribe, and good luck with your AZ500 preparation. Thank you very much for watching.